Hey everyone, welcome to a special event. I am super excited to bring my friend and colleague, Leslie Beitel. Oh, hold on, Leslie. My computer is about to die. Hold on. You don't want that to happen. We're dealing with all kinds of tech issues
We
today.
are.
Don't worry, guys. We'll get it together. Hold on.
It is a interesting tech day, guys.
We're here for it. Thank you for your patience and welcome to this special event, 6-figure building blocks for your practice. We are going to be talking with business expert Leslie Beitel. Hi, Leslie. Welcome to my kitchen again.
Hey, Jeannie. Hey, everybody. So happy to be here with you today.
Today, we are streaming to our private Facebook group, Scale Your Nutrition Practice. The recording will remain there with a timestamp. So for those of you who might need to leave early, or if you wanted to invite friends to watch the replay, make sure that they join our Facebook group. We are also streaming into LinkedIn and YouTube. So we're just trying to get everybody where they are. So welcome to my kitchen. I'm Jeannie Petrucci, registered dietitian, nutritionist, culinary coach, and expert nutrition content creator. And this is Leslie Beitel. Hi, business expert. Hi. So Leslie, I would love for you to kick off the 6-figure building blocks for your practice event today by sharing with our guests who you are, 3 things: who you are, who you serve, and how you serve them. So let's start with who you are.
All right. I am Leslie Beitel. And what else do you want to know about
your credentials?
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. I can make it really short or really, really long.
No, just a straight version. Just like who you are, like, your credentials, your background, kind of why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah. Yes. Awesome. Okay, everybody. Hi. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I'm Leslie Beitel, and I am a registered dietitian. I also have an MBA in global business, lots and lots of clinical experience, ran my own private practice for many years, and also spent 13 years in corporate sales and marketing. And I ran a big team there. So it kind of feels like I've lived a few lives at this point. Right? I know it's like, wow. But it really is, it's great because I got to kind of assimilate all of this past experience to help health entrepreneurs, registered dietitians, functional nutrition coaches, functional medicine doctors. I help them to build a private practice, a thriving practice, integrating multiple streams of income.
Excellent. And how do you serve them? So do you provide one-on-one coaching? Do you have courses? Tell us.
Yeah. So I serve my clients in multiple ways. I have one-on-one services, so private coaching. I have group programs, including one coming up called the 6-Figure Biz Academy, which is kind of my flagship 5-month, immersion, deep dive group program. And I also have courses. So, and I do live streams myself every Thursday, as a matter of fact, at 12:30 Central.
Let me just do my little girl crush thing here for a little bit. Sorry, I think we're getting a little bit of feedback, Leslie.
Oh, from me?
I think so.
Oh, let me double check my mic.
Okay.
I hope it's not.
You might just want to turn the volume down on your speakers for me. I think that's already better. Okay, that's better. We're good.
Okay, I didn't do anything.
All right, maybe it was just, again, something's going on. Is it a full moon tonight?
It's weird. Okay, hang on. Let me look at my, I'll look at my audio just to make sure.
Sure.
Okay, no, everything looks like it's set up correctly.
Excellent. Okay, we're good.
Fingers crossed.
So I was just talking to someone about you, Leslie, a colleague.
Okay.
Like, I don't know much about Leslie. Tell me more. And I really just, from a place of honesty, just shared my experience with you. Here are the things that I love about your approach to serving your ideal customer avatar, people who are joining us today. Number one, you've done what you coach people to do.
Yeah.
Right. So never take directions from someone who hasn't gone to where you want to be. Right. Like that's just the recipe for disaster. So, you do apply evidence-based nutrition practice and business practice but you've actually, you bring it a very practical application to it. And that's really what I love about what you do. Number two, you also give tons of free content. And I love that you do things like this. I mean, this is an hour, very valuable hour of your time, where you're providing, free, very valuable content to my community. So we're very grateful for that. So thank you.
My pleasure.
And number three, you really operate from a place of integrity and service. So for those three reasons, that's why I really enjoy working with you and partnering with
that.
in all different kinds of ways. So let's get down to it.
All right.
We're going to move right through our agenda today. While you start with our first tidbit here, so we're going to start with how to nail your niche market and audience. While you're talking, Leslie, I'm going to check the email for that graphic. Okay.
Okay. Excellent. Yep. Yeah. Interesting. This is where the tech gremlins today, let's call them the tech gremlins, are not.
Yeah. Okay.
Not letting me share my screen. So hopefully Jeannie is.
I do have it. I have it.
Awesome. So Jeannie's going to share her screen. I have a beautiful infographic that we're going to review today. Right. So
what is like overall, like what are some of the key takeaways before we get into the details while I pull this up? What are the key takeaways that you're going to want our viewers and our guests to get out of today?
Yeah, great. So what I want to do is review just kind of give you like that 30,000 foot view of the main building blocks to a healthy, profitable business. Ultimately, one that provides eventually multiple streams of revenue. So you're not totally reliant on one thing, which I think nowadays is super important. How to position yourself as an authority in the marketplace, which is so critical. How to talk about what you do in a way that is going to attract clients to you, right? And that's really around the messaging and some marketing strategies. We had a couple questions come in that I want to talk about today as well, including how to integrate master classes, right, on the front end of a sales funnel. So we're going to dig into that. And then we had another great question come in, from someone that is kind of jumping back into functional nutrition and is kind of looking for, kind of the low-hanging fruit in terms of jump starting the practice.
Low tech, the low tech option.
Low tech, low-hanging fruit. Right.
Excellent. So Leslie, you can see now we're sharing our screen.
Okay.
So you can feel free. We're going to be starting with that clear niche market.
Yeah.
And let me just say to our guests who are just joining us, we're here with Leslie Bitel, business expert. We're going to be covering 6-figure building blocks for your practice. The first building block is how to nail down your niche market and audience. If you have any questions as we're moving along, please feel free to drop them in comments. All right, Leslie.
All right, so let's dig in. So this is one of the foundational elements in building a profitable practice. And I'll just say, lots of times, at least what I'm seeing, we think we know our target audience and niche, right? I feel like many of us have evolved. 5 years ago when I started doing this work, it was super interesting. Hardly anyone had a target audience or niche identified. So I feel like you guys have really evolved and grown in this regard. The thing that I still see is kind of like, maybe you've got an idea of who your audience is and who you want to serve. Sometimes it's like a couple audience, like 2 target audiences. And then what do I do with that? And then really what I want you to take away from this component, this identifying a clear niche market, of course, we need to know the who, right? We absolutely have to know who it is that we're serving, because otherwise all the other work that you're doing is going to fall on deaf ears, right? Your messaging is going to be very diluted, and your client, your target audience, they are not going to understand how you can help them. I mean, that's really the bottom line. So our messaging and our, which is really an important piece of the niche market, has to be clear. Now, does it have to be super, super narrow? No, it doesn't. But you do need to answer the question, who do you serve? What are the problems you solve? So important. What are those problems that you solve for people? So I really, really want to encourage you guys to spend a little time on this, um, and make a list. Like literally, you can sit down. This is what I do with my private clients. Seriously, we figure out who do you serve, and we brainstorm a list of challenges, pain points, struggles that your client is experiencing that you can help solve.
And
Okay.
here's what we often see in the space,
Yes.
Leslie, and I'm sure you'll agree. A lot of times, the niches that we serve come from our own personal
Mhm.
experiences. And I think sometimes that's the best niche to target
Me
because
too.
you have experienced those problems yourself. For
Right.
example, me, I'm not serving consumers, I'm serving business owners. But I was the one 7 years ago having a panic attack in my private practice because I just found myself overwhelmed by trying to quote unquote do it all. I needed to solve my own problem.
Yep.
And once I did, then it became a scalable solution. So I'm guessing the same holds true when you are speaking to a consumer niche market. If let's just go with an example, Leslie. So if somebody was touched by thyroid dysfunction,
Right.
kind of how would you walk that practitioner through, all right, you have the nutrition expertise, but then you also have this personal experience. How can they bring that together?
Oh my goodness. So, yeah. So, we'd want to dig in more specifically because there's a lot of ways your thyroid can go awry, right? Is
Right.
it autoimmune? What is it? Hypothyroidism or hyper. So we want to dig in a little bit more. Or you could really brand yourself as the thyroid expert and kind of cover all of those areas. The one thing I do want to mention is, and I think this is kind of what Jeannie is alluding to, is your brand story. Your brand story is critical. And basically, what does your brand story do? It helps your audience understand. It helps create a connection, first of all, right? We want to create a strong connection with our audience, and we want to help them understand why we care and develop the trust, right? In terms of, we've gone through this similar experience, we've struggled, and we've come out the other side, right? So that's your brand story. One of the questions I get all the time is, well, Leslie, what if I myself have not struggled, right? And so to be clear, there's lots of ways we can position you as an expert with this brand story concept, even if you yourself have not struggled. And probably the best way to do that is just by talking about, what did you observe in the world that just troubled you, right? So it might, as an example, maybe you come from a place where you have observed, the childhood obesity epidemic, right? And you've seen how children suffer and just how hard it is. And so, that could be the orientation around your
I
brand story.
love that. Can I give a personal
You
example
can.
and a practical one?
Sure.
When I before and it actually was what inspired me to become a registered dietitian in part. Before I became a registered dietitian, I was asked by a local nonprofit that served people who were touched by cancer. They are the largest provider of mental health
Mhm.
professionals in the area of oncology. And they're like, oh, Jeannie, would you come and give these, culinary demonstrations? Because our community, people who've been touched by cancer, are really struggling with how to create foods to support their journey, whether they're in treatment or not. And I was like, sure, of course, I'll do it. And of course, I go to give these community demonstrations, and people are asking me questions about food as it relates to cancer. I'm like, I am not an expert in this area. And that really moved me and lit me up inside to kind of pursue my RD. Like, I want to help these people. So I
Yeah.
observed something, right, in a community. I wanted to help these people overcome these barriers that were getting in the way of their success, and becoming a registered dietitian was one of them. So I could have, if I continued with my private practice, without having a personal experience with the condition, I had, a once removed experience by observing a
Yeah.
community and really being touched. But I think the key is that whatever you decide, and correct me if I'm wrong, Leslie, but you really need to be passionate about. If
You
you are
do.
going to be telling a story and you're not passionate. Now, your story is not your origination story. It's not like, hi, I'm Jeannie Petrucci, and this is what I do, and this is how I do it. Like, nobody wants to hear that.
Mm-mm.
When you're telling a story, you're actually, the people who are hearing it aren't hearing your story. They're actually hearing their story. Right, Leslie?
Oh my gosh. It's a mirror image.
It's a transformation, but it has to come from a place of passion and authenticity, because people can smell a mile away if you're not being authentic.
Yeah.
So really think about, when you're exploring it, whether you're doing it with Leslie personally, or maybe you just want to go on this journey with us today, think about what lights you up. And it doesn't always have to be positive. It can be negative. Like, this makes me angry. Like, how could this community be taken advantage of? Is that right, Leslie?
I think that's incredible.
Okay.
Absolutely. So there's, just to give everyone a tip to walk away with, there's 3 pieces to your story, just 3 little pieces. Give them a little background on how things were. So like, if you're really angry about a situation, talk about that. A couple sentences, a paragraph, right? So you're giving them the lay of the land in terms of the struggle. Then you move into, you can talk a little bit about the trigger, right? Like, what triggered you to change, or what you did to either attempt to change that situation or change yourself if you yourself experience the struggle. Part 3 is, what are things like now, right? What changed? How does it look now? How does it feel now? Remember, feelings. Try to talk a little bit about your feelings. And then I like to say, wrap it all up in a bow by saying, now I'm in this, I'm honored and just so pleased that I'm in a position to support people through this same experience. Right.
And by the end of your story, if it's landing with your ideal customer avatar, they're like, I'm in. Like,
totally.
This is someone I want to work with. And I know all of you have had that experience with somebody, right? Where you're talking to somebody like, I want to work with this person, or I want to be friends with this person. It's because they have connected with you on a really emotional level. And that's where the storytelling can help you. So we're still on step number 1 to number 1 building block, but it's so, like Leslie said, it's so important. It is like a critical, it's like the keystone of your foundation, like it, or your doorway, however you want to put it. It is the keystone of building a successful practice. You need to nail down your niche market, your audience, and your messaging has to land right and come from an authentic place. And again, Leslie, that's why I enjoy working with you. You can speak from a place of passion and integrity because you actually experienced what it's like to build a private practice, right? So awesome. Are we ready to move on?
I think we should. Yeah, okay. I could talk a lot more about it, but let's keep going.
Well, people will have, listen, everybody who's on with us now and who's listening to this recording, actually, Paige, can you drop that in right now? So in case people have to leave or they want to sign up before they forget. Leslie, can you just tell us, as we move on to the next, what is this, this program that you're offering? And it's free CEUs for my registered dietitian friends. So listen up. Yay.
You get 4 CEUs, but you got to attend live. That's the only caveat, right? Okay. We can't give CEUs
the recorded
version. You know, the Academy is kind of picky about that. Yes. Okay, so real quick, we're going to drop the link. I have an event next week. I'm so excited. Finally. And what I'll be talking about is your 2023 multiple streams of income plan. And we're actually going to roll up our sleeves and figure out the numbers. Like, in other words, do a little forecasting. If you guys are familiar with my profit pyramid concept, right? Where, we're going to look at the varying levels of services within a healthy private practice, all the way from the tippy top, which is your, kind of your VIP level, higher end programs and packages, all the way down to, the DIY, downloadable courses, that kind of thing. And then how do you get in front of your audience via typically free events like what we're doing here today.
Great.
So it's 4 days and I'm really excited. Day 4 is going to be, I'm going to do something a little bit different. We'll be doing some mindset work.
Oh, love it.
right?
Love that. Love that. Love that.
Mhm.
So Paige just dropped the link. Everybody, this is a free program,
Free
correct?
program. Yep.
Again, Leslie, once again, delivering tons of value for free, and you get CEUs.
Yeah.
So you
You
have to
get
show up
a
live.
workbook, you get
Yep,
like handouts
perfect.
every day.
Great.
I
Well,
think it'll be really great.
Paige just dropped the link, so make sure you catch that.
Thanks, Paige.
All right, let's move. Thank you, Paige. So let's move on to number 2, building block for your practice. Where are
Okay.
we going?
All right. So here we're talking about list building and audience building. How do we attract? And the caveat here
Right
is
here.
how do we attract right fit clients to us? And remember, guys, part of the right fit piece is by having a message that resonates with the right people. Okay. So that's where the clear market, niche market fits in. So basically, these are strategies that can help you. And honestly, I would say some of these are low hanging fruit, like friends and fans strategy. What is that? It is good old fashioned networking, right?
Hey, can I share
I'm
another
a fan of
practical personal thing? So I love that you're introducing these theories, and I'm just going to throw in my private practice practical piece. Is that okay?
it. You bet.
All right. So yesterday, I'm still truly like, but the adrenaline is like up here. Yesterday, I did a presentation for Mental Health Day to 200 high school students, girls. I was at an all girls school. That is boots on the ground business development, community building. There, the entire staff of the school was there, and I delivered this presentation, and it was great practice. I ran through my presentation, I did some activities, so it was all good. But in the end, do things like that drive business, Leslie?
I mean, it depends.
Yeah.
I would say you never know. I mean, I don't know if that's exactly your target audience,
Well,
but
no, it was because, yeah, actually,
okay.
it was. So, for me,
If it is, then for sure it will
yeah, but
drive
that could
business.
have, I guess the point is that presentation could have been to any audience. If my target audience was still serving people who are touched by cancer, I would be delivering, nutrition and cancer prevention inside of
Right.
an oncology center, right? Is that going to drive business? I mean,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So yesterday, not even, I'm not even in private practice, but after my presentation, there was a line of people wanting to talk with me about providing my services to their church, now I don't counsel anymore, so I'm going to be referring those people to my partners in the community. But, at the end of the day, that friends and fans kind of boots on the ground, it really, really is an effective strategy. A little bit old school, but it doesn't have to be high tech.
Well, and for the person who asked about low tech strategies to get back out there, I would highly recommend starting here. Zero technology, guys, absolutely none. All we're doing is we're having conversations with people, which I know is maybe a little awkward in this day and age, but I really want to encourage you to do it.
Yeah.
It is about relationships and building trust. And I'm here to say people want to help you, but they're not mind readers, right? So we need to get out there and talk to people. What I share with my clients who really want to, and this is a low hanging fruit strategy. Seriously, it's like one of the first things that you can do to get some momentum in your practice. I have them do a brain dump, like make a list of anyone who would simply be happy to hear from you. That's it. And,
And shoot them a note, right? I mean, we're still talking about list building. So to be clear, when we're talking about doing these events in the community, you are delivering value. So it's okay to ask for emails. So
yep.
7 years ago, Leslie, we literally had a sign-in sheet, like pen to paper, low tech. People would come into the event and they would sign and give us their email address.
Yeah.
Now we use automations for that, but you don't have to, right?
Oh, trust me. I just had a client last week who did the pen and paper sign in.
Registration.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. So it doesn't even have to be high tech. Just pass the clipboard around and, have people sign in. And what I like to say is, one of the incentives for people sharing their email with you in this kind of setting is you can just say, hey, I'm going to send you, this ebook or a free gift, or, and then the next day you do follow up, thank people for coming, assuming it was a talk, and send them something that you think will be helpful. And perhaps even invite them into a next step, right? Which could
Perfect.
be a conversation with you.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting their permission,
Right.
right? So that's
Of
all good.
course.
So under list building, you have free lead magnets. So that
Yeah.
is, again, content that is valuable
Right.
to the work that you did in step one, right?
And
Your
you've
niche
got
market.
tons, Jeannie, of options for lead magnets, right?
Yeah, for
So
my Living Plate RX Prime
yeah,
members, you will never be at a
you'll
loss for
never run out. Many of my clients
Yeah.
use your content, and it's
Yeah.
super helpful. And by the way, I do want to say one of my favorite recipes is that African peanut stew.
So
Just
good, right? Ugh.
okay. Yes,
So,
love
and
that.
like you almost always you could even use frozen spinach in that. So like almost always you have those ingredients in your kitchen, right? So super easy. Good. I'm glad you like that.
Loved it.
Okay, so we're talking about list building. The step one, for those of you who are just joining us, Leslie Bytel, business expert, covered really getting clear on who your niche market is and delivering the right kind of message through stories. Now we're talking about list building,
Right.
boots on the ground list building, free lead magnets. I do want you to talk a little bit about, maybe a minute or so, about like the summits, the giveaways, the free webinars, which are really, and by the way, for those, it's kind of a meta experience. If you click on the link, that page just dropped, the link to Leslie's free webinar and workshop. That is an example of how you build a list with a lead magnet. Okay.
Right? Great example. Yeah. Okay. So let me just kind of touch on a few of these, and then we'll circle back around to the webinar concept, because I know that was one of the questions that we had
Yes.
for today. All right. So summits. All right. We talked about lead magnets. You guys have tons and tons of options. There is no shortage if you're in Jeannie's community. So lucky you. Summits and giveaways. So this is a really interesting concept. One of my clients actually did this about a month ago, as a matter of fact, and it was hugely successful. She grew her email list by about 450 new people. Okay. Highly targeted new people. And really, I'm guessing many people in our audience today have probably seen like the autoimmune summit, like, they used to be really, really popular. I think, now I
I
see
love
them.
the word summit. It just sounds like so, versus webinar. I love
Right.
the word summit. I
I
think
like
it would
it too.
make, like, from a consumer perspective, it would make them feel like they're really enriching themselves. Like
They are.
I'm
Yeah.
going to a summit to, learn about nutrition as it relates to X, visit step one,
Right.
right? So that's what can, and by the way, as Leslie completes talking about list building, can you guys just drop in here? What is your niche? And if you don't know, that's okay yet. But for those of you who are on with us right now, I want you to drop in comments. What is your niche market? Tell us right now. All right,
Love
Leslie.
to hear that. So
So,
a summit, I'll give you a quick rundown of what this looks like.
perfect.
So I'll give you an example of what my client did. So she did a summit it's a women's health summit. She specializes in weight management, but what she did, you have to have a theme, to be clear, right? So she just kind of picked a pretty big theme, women's health. And what she did was she invited 11 speakers. So there were 12 speakers
Wow.
counting herself,
Okay.
right? And so, so she had an opt-in pay. So I will say it does require a little tech. So for those of you that are like just getting started, and you're kind of wanting to go lower tech, I would put this on the back burner for now. But those of you that are like, okay, I'm ready, bring it on. This is an underutilized strategy, in my opinion. And I would love to see more of you doing this. So basically what she did, she picked 11 speakers, 12 counting herself. She had them all listed on one opt-in page. And the way this works so well for the person organizing the summit is part of the criteria for participating is that each person, so in her case, 11 people shared the summit with their respective audiences.
Wow.
He gets all of the opt-ins, right?
Right.
And so she grew her list really quite significantly. And now what's really cool is I'm helping her bundle this up and sell it as a standalone product. So as we look at multiple streams of income, we're creating a strategy to help her, to actually sell the recordings.
And
So
this
really cool.
doesn't have to, you don't have to have 11 people. You could do a
You know,
summit with four. And I would say one of the things to think about when you're inviting people to the summit is that you want to invite people who operate at the same level of integrity and authenticity as you, for sure. But somebody who operates in the same space, but brings something different to the table. For example, maybe a yoga and mindfulness instructor or a personal trainer, right? You're not going to invite 4 dietitians who counsel on hormone health, because then you're all, competing with each other.
Right.
But it's super easy to think about like interdisciplinary professionals that you can work with, right? So like if I were in cardiac, if I were in cardiac health, I would definitely bring on the cardiologist that I used to work with. So a cardiologist, definitely maybe somebody who specializes in stress reduction, and then maybe a personal trainer to talk about simple exercises that you can do. Does that make sense, Leslie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
100%. So that's a really great strategy. It requires a little tech, but not over the top, right?
Okay.
Underutilized strategy, guys. So I really want to encourage you to, explore that one. Of course, should we keep going?
Well, let's just quickly, because we've gone through, I'd like to get through 3 and, I'd like to get to marketing positions so that we can be finished by 1 o'clock. I just want to respect everybody's time. So yeah, if you could quickly go through the balance of the list. We have social media, paid traffic, and then newsletter, blog post.
Okay. All right. So, let's talk a little bit about social media. All right. This is a good one. Now I'm just going to say it right out of the gate. I'm really opinionated about how to leverage social media to get the maximum benefit. And guys, note that it's under list building. Okay. That gives you a hint, right? I know Jeannie knows what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Direct sale through social media isn't, that's like truly, if you think about the funnel, it's like plunging somebody down to the bottom of the funnel before you've started a relationship with them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what we want to do is, I love social media because it extends our reach well beyond what we would otherwise probably be able to achieve, right? So the caveat, though, is you want to entice people to get on your email list. Make no mistake, that is what we want to do with social media, right? So, of course, we want to grow our accounts and, kind of like, play with the algorithms and all that kind of thing just to extend our reach. Your ultimate goal, though, is without a doubt to move people from social media onto your email list. And the best way to do that is by inviting them to download your lead magnet, right? So that is really how I want you to look at social media. Would you agree with that, Jeannie?
Yes. And if anybody is on this, was on our live event on Tuesday, you know what I'm going to say. ManyChat, which is a chatbot, has changed the game in terms of like literally delivering that content to your client's inbox or to their phone. You can use a link in bio. So this is more the tech piece, Leslie.
Yep.
But it does help operationalize the concept that you just introduced, which is that you make an offer on social media, you deliver value. When you do that, you can ask for somebody's email in exchange for a piece of content, which is valuable. But exactly how you do that can impact your business. That's actually going to be one of the things we talk about today, like automating processes to save time. Chatbot is a game changer. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but for those of you who are watching today, go into Scale Your Nutrition Practice and watch Tuesday's event. Game changing for operationalizing what Leslie just talked about. It is, I'm so passionate about it because it had an immediate impact on my list. Immediate.
Amazing.
Yeah. All right. So paid traffic and then newsletter.
Okay. All right. So Another way that we can grow our audience and ultimately move people to your email list is via paid traffic. What do I mean by that? Basically, paid ads, right?
Facebook
Um,
ads, right?
yeah, specifically, I would say Facebook ads. There's also LinkedIn ads
Mhm.
and Instagram and Google ads, right? So, in my experience, I have found that, and I think Jeannie would agree with this. Facebook ads are really, really effective for helping you to build your list. And specifically, to be clear, the ads that really work the best would be like an ad to something free. So your download, your free lead magnet or
Your summit.
your summit. Oh
Your
my God.
summit. Yep.
Actually, and I can say, because we did run Facebook ads to this women's health summit,
Right.
it was phenomenal. Like the conversion.
It's great.
And just FYI, when the conversion is really great, Facebook does reward you by giving you a lower cost per lead price.
Mhm.
So that was a really beautiful thing. So anyway, Google ads are another option. I do have several clients that are getting traction with Google ads as well. So again, you're not selling. Like, I don't think it's a good idea to spend your ad money driving traffic to a paid thing. Typically, because these people don't know you, right? Unless it's like super, super cheap, then maybe. But I think you're better off. This is a great way to fill a webinar, right? We have that question
It's great.
about,
I do it
yeah,
all day, every day.
me too.
I have a significant Facebook ads spend every month, and it drives traffic. My cost per lead is covered by the revenue that I make. So,
Yeah.
and we're not going to get into the details of Facebook ads,
Mhm.
but your decisions need to be data driven. Number one, like if something is successful, Facebook ads will help you scale that. Facebook ads will not fix a problem, right? So
Right.
I need more customers, so I'm going to run Facebook ads. No, that's not the objective. So work with Leslie. She'll help you get clear on what the objective is, which, for list building, it's amazing. You can offer a very low priced opt-in, which it's,
Mhm.
they're
Okay.
called flow funnels. So self-liquidating offer, which I've been running for now 4 years, a
Okay.
self-liquidating offer. So people will pay, $37,
Right.
but they get $2,900 worth of content from me, right? So you need to have a huge difference between what people are paying and the value that they're getting, and then you'll get people on your list. So offering something like a free webinar with a bunch of different bonuses, like Leslie is offering a free webinar for CEUs, super high value,
Yeah.
right? That's the kind
Four
of thing.
4 days worth.
40, exactly,
Right?
exactly. So yeah,
Four.
that's my bit on paid traffic. Paid traffic,
Yeah.
Facebook ads are the same as Instagram ads and Google ads. They can all be really expensive if you don't follow step one, which we've covered, right? If your messaging isn't right and you're not clear on your ideal customer avatar, don't run Facebook ads.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
So
why it
now,
really is. Yeah.
okay,
I was just going to agree. Like, it
okay,
really
perfect.
is the thread that connects everything. Having
Excellent.
clarity
And
around your.
so lastly on list building, because I know this list building is really important. It is the foundation for building a private practice, right? Once you have a list in place and you can nurture these people and convert to, paid clients. But what about newsletters and blogs and podcasts and things like
Yeah. Well, this is your content, right?
that?
So, and I know Jeannie has a ton of options for you as well to help you with this.
Okay.
So the idea is, like, each of these will kind of serve a different purpose. Obviously, a blog, you're doing a little bit of keyword research. You're trying to ensure that whatever topics you're writing about and posting on your website are things that your ideal client is actually searching for. So hopefully, the you're doing keyword research, the potential client types in a question, your content pops up, right? Like, that's the
Yeah.
ideal scenario.
Yeah.
So you're driving traffic to your website.
So, for example, if in my blog post library collection that my members have access to, there's a blog post on, how to follow an anti-inflammatory diet. You're
Yeah.
not going to copy that blog post and put it on your website because number one, it will not do it would not do you any favors as far as Google is concerned, because
Right.
it will see the duplicate content, number one. But number two, it doesn't speak to your step one, ideal customer avatar and your niche. That's why having a very well-defined niche is going to support you with using our white labeled content and then making it relevant with your messaging. Also, I should add your tone, your colors. You got to add your personality to all of that too, part of your brand story, and get that in your newsletter and your blog. So
Yep.
cool.
It's really true. Yep.
All right, so
So-
let's move on to
Yep.
market. I had this up before and it wasn't correct. So now we're going to talk about market positioning.
Okay.
Let's cover some of that.
All right. So essentially here, the bottom line is, I would say this is true for every single person on our call today. We want to position you as the authority in the marketplace, right? And there's ways that we can do this. I would say the most important thing is to really increase your visibility and exposure in the market, right? Of course, again, we're going back to that messaging.
Yeah.
And
I know
always
you're
go
going
back
with
to
this.
that, like again and again. So you got to be clear on that message, how you help people, what are the problems you solve, what are those beautiful transformations you help people to achieve. And I mean, that's again the core of this market positioning. But there's lots of ways that you can really get out there and increase your exposure. Things like, I've got one client who has a weekly radio show. Amazing, right?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's
That's real old school. But
clients.
yeah, awesome.
It's amazing. And guess what? She repurposes that content every single week, right? So it's really pretty cool. I mean, TV, podcast interviews, I feel like that is kind of a hidden gem as well, right?
Mhm.
So, getting featured as a guest on other people's podcasts is a great way to increase your visibility. Of course, good old fashioned PR, right? Sponsorships. I love joint ventures. I mean,
so I was going to ask you if we could really focus on two things in this block: the joint ventures piece, because that collaborative piece, when I was in private practice, had a huge impact on the volume of sales, really. And then also kind of certifications, right? Like, how can you position yourself as an expert, kind of leaning on your area of expertise and your credentials?
Okay. Yeah. So joint ventures, what do we mean by that? It's really a collaboration with, it could be a brand. I love, and I know Jeannie does too, brand collaborations, really, really, really powerful. And the reason, so what you want to do when you start to look for these types of opportunities, look around at who else serves your target audience, right? What brands do you like that serve your target audience? I think that is an underutilized strategy. What businesses, what local businesses serve your ideal clients?
Can I give a practical example real quick?
Yeah, I have one
All
too.
right.
Yep.
So I did not, when I was in private practice, focus on serving people who were touched with infertility. But that doctor came to me saying, I need someone to help my patients. I'm like, well, we can do that. And she was also very active on social media. So Dr. Serena Chen and now Dr. Serena Chen is a national expert on fertility. And she's like, oh, let's do a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live. I'm like, cool.
Great.
I'll cook, you talk. Right. So I brought value. I wasn't going to talk about, fertility. I was going to be talking about the food, because that's my area of expertise. I brought that to the table. She brings her fertility expertise. And oh my gosh, those were some of the most fun events that we ever did. And yes, it helped drive traffic and also establish me as an expert in my community in nutrition as it relates to fertility. So that was a perfect example. Like, if you scroll back into my Instagram feed, you can actually see those.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And some of these joint ventures, I just want to point out, like, they're maybe non-traditional. And I'll give you a quick example. So when I had my private practice, I did this all the time. I would say it was the number one driver of my success. I love collaborating with people. It's just kind of part of my DNA, I think. So one of the things I did was I looked at, where do I currently go? Where do I spend my money? Right? Like, who do I go to? Well, one place was my hair place, right? So I went to, we have this huge Aveda hair salon, like huge, and they are very active in the community. And I knew the owner and I went there like all the time, right?
And actually, I think that their brand story aligns with your
It
functional
does.
nutrition
It
platform.
does.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it was such a great partnership.
Yeah.
So the way I approached it was kind of two prong. Way number one is I want to get in front of her employees, right? Because
Mhm.
then I can have like 50 referral partners, handing out my cards to their patients or to their clients, the massage therapists, the hair people, the nail people, the, estheticians. The other approach was, hey, I want to try to get in front of their customers. And so it was extremely fruitful. I added value because it was kind of a unique slant. Of
Mhm.
course, they added tons of value. I got tons of referrals through that process. So really the point is like, just think about what I would think about, where do you go? And do they also serve your ideal clients? Like that's the first kind of rung
Excellent.
of people, because they already know you,
Yeah.
right?
Perfect. Perfect. Let's go ahead in the spirit of saving some time. Now, you guys, I
Sure.
am going to actually, Paige, you don't have the link for this yet, but
Mhm.
I will make sure that a link to this PDF, is that okay? Leslie, can we
Yeah.
share
Oh,
this?
yeah, 100%.
Okay, great. A link to this PDF is going to be available to you. I will post it in the comments when the broadcast is completed. Let's go ahead and move on to offerings, because I did want to spend some time
Okay.
on that. What should our practitioners be thinking about with this pillar of building a six-figure business?
Okay. Well, we do get into multiple streams of income in another one of these pillars, but let's start with kind of just giving you an overview of the offers. So in my opinion, all of our offers really need to solve a big pain point, right? So regardless of what it is, a course, one-on-one services, a DIY, whatever it is, I really want you to think about, who are you targeting? What are their challenges? What's keeping them up at night? What is urgent? Okay, I think that's really the key. Um, what is like an urgent problem that they want solved now? And that's really the topic. I would say, especially when you get into courses
Right.
and group programs, it can't be like, oh, it would be nice to solve that,
It has
but
to be
no, it's
really,
got to be like hot, like,
yeah.
this is what's keeping me up at night. I can't take it anymore. I got to get it solved. Right. So that's really how I want you to think about your offerings, because that is going to make them sell. Right. Instead of it being a nice to have, kind of a luxury, I got to have this because
And you know that you have to have this. And this again goes back to the beginning of our conversation, where when you're exploring your niche market, like what is keeping them up at night? What is a barrier that is getting in the way of their success on a daily basis? Like that's the itch you got to scratch.
yes.
Otherwise, you're not going to be moving people's feet to your offer, right? You have to motivate them, not in your words saying, "Oh, this is the best thing. This is what you
Yeah.
need." No, this is a
They won't
transformation.
care.
They won't care, right? And you can spend all the money you want on Facebook ads, and it's still not going to
And it
sell,
won't work. Yeah.
right?
And
And
it's
that's
not
a
about
common
you.
mistake we see. Very
Yeah,
human,
and it's because we're coming from our clinical brain,
right?
typically, right? Which
You need
so
this, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
and we're trying to convince somebody, but we have to put ourselves in their position. That's why I always like to say marketing is the epitome of being empathic.
right.
Literally, it's like the epitome of empathy, right? Because we're putting ourselves in their place, their position.
And you really have to feel it. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know any other way to describe it. When I was kind of trying to come up with my offerings, I had to feel it, like feel like this is it. This
Right.
is the solution. And you have to plant your feet
You
in
do.
concrete and live it, right?
That's
All
right.
right. So solve the biggest
Right.
pain points, no hours for dollars. What does that mean?
Yeah, well, it's the concept, and I understand this may not fit for every single practice here. Ideally, though, you are working with people in a package or a container where there's a start and an end.
Okay.
And I could go on and on about that. Even, guys, I would say, even if you're in the insurance model, I know this sounds really different, but I would encourage you to invite your clients to step into an elongated experience with you, understanding 100%. I get it. You can't bill for a package, right? I get it in the insurance model, but I would still invite people into like a 90-day experience with you in order to get them to that transformation that they desire. That is the key.
I have
So,
an idea I want to share
yeah.
because you just sparked an idea. Because we did at Living Plate, where I am right now, our private practice was insurance based. I'm thinking, and you could absolutely make it optional, but if you believe, and you should, that your services are going to be transformational for
Mhm.
that person, you should be asking for a commitment from them. Now, if you're in an insurance model, it cannot be a financial commitment, right? But how about basically like a letter of intent? Like, I'm going to make a commitment to you for the next 90 days. Your insurance is going to pay for you to come see me once a week or once every other week for the next 90 days. If you fulfill this commitment, here's what I'm going to do if you show up. And just like have them sign it. Like, it's not like a contract or anything, but
I love it.
wouldn't that be cool? I like that is definitely
And that is
something
what
to
I'm
do.
getting at.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, what I'm getting at. And I
Perfect.
promise you, the transformation will be spectacular.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a more committed client.
Yep.
And you've kind of put people in a container rather than, and I say container, like you've given them a roadmap to success rather than just come whenever you want, right?
Right.
Or
Call,
just come,
or book
like,
your next appointment when you walk out. And a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't know my calendar. But
right.
if you have a package and you say, look, let's open up your calendar, and your insurance will pay for this. Or not if you're not insurance based, and let's pick the dates that work for you.
Yeah.
And when, and you can look, that's an exchange of value. If somebody makes a commitment to you, then you can say, if you make this commitment, I'm going to enroll you at no additional cost to you in my 90-day, whatever the program is. How does that sound? Wow. I wish I was in private practice right now, because that is a strategy, Leslie, that I would absolutely implement.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really want to encourage you to do that. Every single person.
Cool.
Okay. And I could go on and on about that, but for
Right.
the sake of time, we're going to keep going, right?
Yeah, wait a minute. There's more than, wait, is this the six? Oh, it's a six-figure business. It's not six building blocks. Okay.
No,
Sorry,
it's
guys.
8 building blocks
Okay.
for a six-figure business.
All right. So we have about 10 minutes left. So I want to make sure that we cover lightly the marketing strategies and then some selling skills as well.
All right. So marketing strategies. All right. All right. So again, the whole idea behind marketing is to attract right fit clients into your world, right?
Right.
And guys, I really want to encourage you to kind of look at this like as a two-prong approach. Really super important. Online and offline strategies. Okay. So, and I know like sometimes it's not super clear cut in this day and age, there is some overlap. That being said, what I'm urging, the way I look at it is a lot of the offline strategies, like community-based, referrals, generating referrals, they're very relationship based. So what I'm recommending is that you have a handful of strategies that fall under each category rather than putting all of your eggs in the online basket right out of the gate. In my opinion, again, kind of going back to that question that we had, Jeannie, about what are some fast, strategies, low hanging fruit, low tech. It is your offline strategies. It's relationship building. It's, creating that local network.
Yes.
It's, getting out there, doing talks. And here's the reality. What I've noticed, because I think that person was also concerned about like lack, since the pandemic, can we actually get out into the community? What I'm seeing is the answer is yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Things are open.
Yeah.
And many of the opportunities that were kind of either closed down or all online I think people are really kind of craving that sense of community and togetherness again. So my clients are out there doing in-person talks and they're doing webinars, right? So, so you want to have a handful of strategies to market your services and attract the right fit clients under both online and offline. So obviously online strategies would be, using social media, having a really powerful lead capturing website, doing like what Jeannie and I do and having perhaps a live show, right? Like a
Right,
weekly
like a consistent, it
consistent.
doesn't have to be. I mean, Leslie, I could not keep your schedule. Leslie's got another event right after this one. You keep a pace
Yeah,
at whatever makes you most comfortable, but the key is to keep a pace,
right.
right? So do one show a month, one show a week, one show twice a month. It doesn't matter. Fine. I used to have Test Kitchen Tuesday and digital dinner parties. Like I was doing twice a week during the pandemic because I had nothing else to do.
Yeah, right, right.
But it was amazing. Like that was the biggest list building ever for my business.
Yeah.
Because people were online. So I love that. So, doing the live shows and things like mailings, boy, that's really old school. Do people still do
Right?
that?
Actually,
Okay.
I mean, I think they're kind of making a resurgence
All
because
right.
it is so unusual, right? We don't get a lot of mail anymore. At least
Right.
I don't.
Okay.
So that is, that is a possibility for sure.
Excellent.
So you just look at a variety of strategies rather than just putting everything into the online world,
So
right?
diversify.
I really think it's important. You can't do everything.
No.
You
No.
can't, but like I would say pick maybe 3 strategies online, 3 strategies offline, and really
You'll
commit
find
and
out
be consistent.
quickly if it's working,
You
right?
will.
And then whatever is working, like double down on it, right? And for the community building in terms of interdisciplinary partnerships with like other healthcare professionals, so namely doctors who work in your area of expertise, you don't need 10, 12 doctors. You need maybe 2
Right.
who
Yeah.
refer regularly. So it's not like you have to expand this huge network. You just have to tap into the right people. And
Right.
so, for Leslie, it would be somebody who is functional medicine minded.
Yeah.
But let's say Leslie did focus on thyroid health. It would, it wouldn't just be any, hormone specialist or any endocrinologist. It would be somebody who has a functional nutrition approach. So again,
Right.
applying what Leslie had talked about at the top of this hour, which was identifying your niche and your messaging, know who exactly you're talking to, pair it with what your interest and expertise is, and then find the right people to collaborate with. Bingo.
Absolutely.
All right,
Yep.
so let's move on to
Okay.
I love this. I love this. I'm sorry we don't have another hour to talk about selling because this is huge and it's kind of an icky place for a lot of our practitioners.
Yeah.
So can you help us out here?
Yes.
Okay.
My favorite topic.
Great.
I just had someone yesterday tell me and she thought she was nailing her discovery calls and she used my approach and she was blown away at how good it felt.
Good.
And how she felt like she was providing value without giving it all away. That's the key, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So basically, we're talking about discovery calls, that initial conversation that you have with a potential client.
They're not dead. They're not dead.
They're not. Oh my gosh, no. And I would say, guys, just kind of going back to basics, one of the things I would recommend is that you focus your efforts. Like when you're out giving talks, you're inviting people to step into a deeper conversation. That is how you move people, forward in terms of, especially like your higher priced programs and products, right? Most people need to have a conversation with you before they're willing to invest the big bucks. Okay. Lower priced offers, maybe you can get them to click buy from a sales page.
Right.
But really important. So, all right. So of course we're talking discovery calls. I call them strategy sessions, lots of different names, but it's that initial conversation.
Yep.
We're looking at, the psychology. And really, I guess the key thing here is if you can get that person to really open up and talk to you about the challenges that they're experiencing and dig a couple layers deeper. How is this problem spilling over and impacting your life? So it's not just, oh, my thyroid's messed up, right? No, it's deeper. Tell me about that. How is that
Right.
spilling over? How is that impacting your life? That's what you want to get underneath. I always like to say facts tell, emotions sell.
Right. So there's a couple of things I'm thinking about. Don't sell the mattress, sell the good night's sleep.
Thank you.
Okay. Don't sell the toothbrush, sell the, the
Healthy
fresh,
gums.
healthy gums, or even like fresh, like whatever is your client's pain point. So for example, if somebody has
Mhm.
heart disease, gum health is very important
Right.
to preventing heart disease. So
Yeah.
how are you going to spin that? You're not going to say, "Oh, sell this toothbrush and it'll solve your problem." Well, tell me how. Like, what's it going to
Right.
do for me, right? So,
Well, and I love that. That's features versus benefits.
right,
Right.
exactly.
So
Yep,
the feature is, the mattress with
it's firm,
X number of
right,
springs or whatever.
right,
Right.
whatever,
So
right.
what? Like the person's like,
You're
big
going to sleep
deal.
like a baby. I'm in.
But
I'm
what
in.
you exactly, and that's the benefit, okay?
Yeah.
So, and honestly, that is one of the first things I learned in my sales training way back is, always sell the benefit and always articulate the benefit, even if you think it's like the person's, never assume the person is understanding the benefit. You got to articulate it.
Exactly. And articulate it from a place of like authenticity. Again, like I am your person to help you get that good night's sleep, right? Like, yes, I'm also the person who's going to sell you the mattress, but I'm the person who's going to help you get that really good night's sleep. And when you're selling, quote unquote, selling from that place of authenticity, it's not only easy, it's like, it's invigorating, right?
Yeah.
I sell every day and I'm never like, hey, this is what I have. Do you want to buy it? No,
Mhm.
it's doing things like
That's yucky sales.
that's icky. So for the people who are on with us, can you just type in icky? If selling kind of makes you uncomfortable, just type in icky. If it makes you a little uncomfortable or has ever made you uncomfortable, because we're here to help you kind of get over that.
Yeah.
We could actually, and Leslie, can we make this our next topic?
Yes,
How to
I
make
love
sales
that.
not
Let's
icky.
talk all
Yeah.
about sales.
Cool.
How to make it not yucky.
All right.
And
Well, we're
you're
going to
doing
finish up.
awesome.
We're going to finish up. Thank you, Leslie. We're going to finish up with talking about multiple streams of income and automation, the two
All right.
other kind of pillars of building a six-figure business. So
Okay.
we get a lot of icky, double icky.
All right,
Diane said double icky. Yeah.
if you feel icky, we need to talk.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It is liberating
It is.
when you can sell by serving. That's the idea. You want to sell by serving. If you understand that the best way to serve your ideal client is for them to buy your product, that is the truth.
You have to know that in your heart.
Right. You have to feel that. Like Leslie gives away a ton of free content, but Leslie sitting here right now will say, yes, the best way that she can serve you is if you pay to work with her inside of her paid programs.
It's true.
There's no shame in that. That's what we're all here to do. So consume all the free content that you want, but at the end of the day, you're not going to get the transformation that I'm promising you as Living Plate RX until you opt into my paid membership, right? So it's those were just two of our personal examples. Okay, so multiple streams of income.
This is my other favorite topic.
Okay.
Sales. All right. Okay, guys. So this is really the profit pyramid. Okay, the different levels of that profit pyramid. So and do remember we're going to take a very, very deep dive in my event next week. So this is just like super, super high level, but we're going to roll up our sleeves and get really into it so that you walk away with your own profit pyramid and plan for multiple streams of income. So make sure you sign up and join me next week.
Oh, excellent. Paige, can you drop that link in one more time, please? Paige, just drop that link in one more time so people can register. Okay. So multiple streams of income.
So basically, and I'm going to venture to say in this day and age, people want options. They want different ways to interact with you, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion, like when I'm first working with a new private practice, I do like to start at the tippy top, right? The one-on-one, kind of the higher end VIP level programs. I want to help you get traction there because it really is the fastest path to cash. in all honesty.
For everyone listening who has been in any of my workshops, or Leslie's for that matter, the profit pyramid is essentially the sales funnel. Leslie flips hers, and she'll cover that in her workshop with you.
Yeah.
But the more people you get into the top of your funnel, the more you're going to drive sales, right? You can't drive sales with a trickle. You need to get a flood of people in. So
yeah,
go ahead.
All right. So then we work our way down the profit pyramid. The price goes down. The amount of access to you goes down, right? So, and that works because some people are like, you know what? I just kind of want to dip my toe in first, right? So that funnel can work either way. It can go up or down, quite honestly. All right. So you've got your mid-level group programs. I'm seeing a lot of my clients have great success with like a hybrid approach where maybe there's a little bit of one-on-one combined with a group.
That's my favorite.
I love that.
If you are thinking of building a course using my content or not, you can't just get a digital course and run it and generate money. Like people may make it sound like that. Like it doesn't work that way unless you're like a super influencer. New York Times masterclass person. You really need to insert yourself in. So I love the hybrid approach, Leslie.
Yep.
And you help people do that, yeah? All day.
100%. All day, every day. Yeah.
And so, but if somebody is just starting out a private practice, would you suggest that they spend a lot of time and money building a digital course, an evergreen digital course? How successful is that?
No, I would work on all of these other things first. And I would help you to grow your audience and your email list and then launch a digital course. Right. Now, it is true. Okay. So here's the reality. You can launch a group program, but if you don't have a list and don't have an audience, it makes it a little trickier. Okay. I'm just saying.
It's really hard.
It does.
I mean, you'll spend a lot of time
around it.
Right. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you or your course. It means you don't have enough people in your funnel. Right. It's a numbers game.
And case in point, so when I first started, I'll just share the story really quick.
Okay, good. And then we have a question.
I was like, okay, so I did the Am I Hungry? I'm a Am I Hungry facilitator, right? Doing mindful eating strategies. I'm like, okay, cool. I've got this training. I've got like the program. I am ready to go. All I want to do is webinars and group programs. And then I went, oops, I don't have an audience to promote to.
Okay. Yeah.
So what I did was I looked for other people who wanted to offer my program to their audience. So that is one way around it. So I did, I brought it into the corporate setting and sold it to another audience. So there is a way around it, but I don't think it's like the first thing I would do with a client.
We have a question. I think this is really important.
All right.
So Barbara is saying, I would like to post a professional State Dietetic Association, not on my personal page. So she'd like to post it on somebody else's page. Is that what I'm understanding? It is not applicable, a little embarrassing. Do I have control over which page? Please answer if you have time. So I guess, maybe you don't have a business page, but I'm going to guess that Leslie is going to suggest you have a business page as well as a personal Facebook.
Oh, on Facebook? Are we talking Facebook?
I think that's what is that what you mean, Barbara? Posting your content or your offer on your private page? Is that why the question versus a professional page? My opinion is that they should be separate. You should have a personal Facebook page and you should have a business page.
I agree with that.
Yes, that's what she's asking. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I agree. You got to have a business page, or I recommend you have a business page.
Yeah.
There might be some spillover, in all honesty. Like on my personal page, I have literally thousands of RDs on my personal page. So like, I do a little sharing there, but mostly I try to keep it separate.
Okay. Yeah. So business page is a way to go. And you can start a Facebook business page. It's really easy to do. Load it, like preload it with content. Like don't just start trickling content, like get some stuff in there and get some activity and you'll quickly start. And you can invite your friends on private Facebook to join your business, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So let's finish with automation because I'm all about automation.
All right. Do you think we covered the masterclass enough? the question about the masterclass?
Probably not.
Okay.
But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably
All right.
not. You have another event, so
Yeah, I do. All right. So,
we'll answer that in a private email.
all right, that sounds great. I just want to make sure that person's taken care of.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so automation. I mean, basically, what we're doing here is we're just trying to streamline your processes so that it's not as cumbersome. Case in point, I just had a client the other day who was like, "Gosh, Leslie, I keep answering the same questions over and over on email." And I was like, "Okay, we need to start looking at how we can simplify this. Let's create what I call a swipe file, right?" I mean, that's one way to automate, right? Just to make it easier. Autoresponders, great example. When people opt in to get that amazing free lead magnet, you want to automate that process so that they get an email from you saying, "Yay, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. Here's the free gift," and a little bit of a narrative. And honestly, I would probably follow that up by a series of what we call nurture emails. So you're not going to do this by hand every time, right? Like that would be like crazy amount of work. You want it to be automated. The follow-up sequence, customer care. I mean, one super easy thing you can do is when you get website, people reaching out to you via the website, you've got an automated email that kicks out automatically saying, "Hey, thank you so much for reaching out. You know, um, we'll be sure to respond within 24 hours," something like that, and maybe share a few other resources that they can check out in the meantime, right?
Amazing, amazing. So because I'm in the content business, automation is very much part of our world because our members need to, well, they can use all of the content kind of in their practice on the ground, like literally handing somebody a handout.
Yeah.
But the better way is to automate, maybe somebody comes into your office and you do a follow-up email that already has the piece of content attached to it. So anytime you can automate, you're saving time. And anytime you can save time, you're saving money, right? That
Right.
time can be spent with clients, right, Leslie?
100%.
Okay.
And it can be spent with you driving the revenue rather than, right? Like rather than you spending all your time, like, doing all these things. Like
Exactly.
driving the revenue.
That was a huge theme in our many chat conversation. Again, huge game changer. If you guys didn't check it out, go into the Facebook group and listen about that because it's very low tech, but the automation is truly priceless.
Yeah.
So saving time is key with the automation piece of it. So before we go, I did want to address, Barbara asked, but her business page is for customers though. So Barbara, I guess it depends on what you're posting. If it is appropriate for your private practice and your business, then you post there. You can select where you're posting. You can do it manually on your that particular Facebook page, or you can designate it inside of Planoly, or any scheduling service, which Facebook page you want the content to be posted to. The key is to identify what content you're providing and who it's relevant for. Is it for your friends and family? Is it for your business? Or is it for your local dietetic association? You need, decide that first, and that will dictate where you post your content. Is that cool, Leslie? Was that right?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. All right. So just again, quick summary. We're coming to a close here. How can people work with you on a deeper level without an investment, right? So this is a free program. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So the program next week, 4 days.
2023 multiple streams of income plan.
Yeah. So I hope you guys will join me. It's going to be 4 days. And again, for those of you that are RDs, you'll end up with 4 CEUs. Pretty significant, right?
Yeah.
But you got to show up live.
Leslie, here's some good. Barbara wants to promote your program. That's what she was getting to. Okay. Now I'm understanding. So Barbara, she wants to share your post, your free program here with her local dietetic association because it's 4 free CEUs. Yeah. So Barbara, don't worry. Leslie will definitely get you that link. Yes. Barbara, first of all, I love that you want to share this experience.
I'm so honored.
Your colleagues. That's amazing. Okay. Thank you, Barbara.
Could you drop me an email directly and I can help you out?
Yeah,
Um,
we'll connect you guys. Yeah.
okay, sounds good.
Oh, LaShondra also wants to share it.
Oh,
Brilliant. That's great. Love it.
amazing. You
Love
guys,
it.
thank you so
That's
much.
great. Yeah.
It's an honor.
Generous group.
Really.
Okay. So next week it starts when?
Monday. Yep.
Okay.
So Monday. So I would grab your seat. We're going to be meeting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
What time?
early evening. I think we booked 7 p.m. Central.
That's great because we haven't. Oh, Leslie just logged off. Okay, so it's next week. The link is here. Paige just dropped the link to join Leslie's 2023 Multiple Streams of Income Plan with the Numbers program. It's 4 days, early evening next week. We are running our ManyChat mini workshop next Wednesday. If you'd like information on that, go to our private Facebook group, Scale Your Nutrition Practice, and there's information there for you on joining that. So next week could be transformative for your practices. So please join Leslie and make sure you're in our group. You will be able to view the recording of our chat here with Leslie Vitel. And Leslie was just automatically logged off because I think she has to get ready for her next program. So Leslie, thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to welcoming you back into my kitchen again really soon. Everyone, if you're watching this as a recording, please feel free to tag me in comments or Leslie, because she's also in our Facebook group, and we will get to your questions immediately. Thank you so much for getting back to us. Take care, everybody.